welcome to the Madden All Legit League playoffs. Sorry we've been a little weak on the weekly, but it takes a lot of effort, okay? And I thought first week of the playoffs, perfect time to start doing some sort of shit. But first, we only have one game played so far. That's the Bills and the Raiders. Complete upset, in my opinion. Like, yes, Bills were the 4th seed, but I mean, Raiders were looking like favorites. Just looking at some of the stats. So Josh Allen, 6 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Derek Carr also kind of played pretty decent. Both got sacked once. Rushing, there's not really much going on. Cook had 11 carries. Nothing really going for the Raiders in the rushing department. They had a Tristan Jackson carry that went through the end zone. And then this Robert Conard guy, he is having a season and a half. But he does 5 receptions for 154 yards, 2 touchdowns. His longest was a 58-yard reception. Then Darren Waller, great game. 6 receptions, 111 yards. Didn't get the touchdown. A 40 is his longest. Stephon Diggs, pretty good game as well, 63 yards. He also had a touchdown. Hooper. Dawson Knox had gotten the end zone 3 times on 3 receptions for 56. And his longest touchdown was a 28. They just played great. Devontae Adams and Hunter Renfrow were the only 2 Raiders that got into the end zone through the air. Defense. The guy we've been talking about all season, this Divine Diablo. He had such a great season, especially in the interceptions department. And this game, led in tackles, looked like he had a pretty good game. Pretty sure he had a bat down. No, he didn't. But you look at the stats here, and it looks like the Raiders kept up with them, but insane loss. Sacks wise, not too much. I think there's 2 sacks combined. Greg, they all shared a sack. Yeah. Divine, Max Crosby, and Jerry Tillery basically all shared a sack together. And then Greg got his own. Kicking. Longest field goal was a 26-yarder. There was only 1 field goal for the Bills in this game. And, it kind of showed when you score 50-plus points. 7 out of 7 extra points. Punting. 2 punts, 82 yards. That's pretty good punting. Not really. I'm going to be honest. It's 40 yards a punt, basically. Or 41 yards a punt. But it depends field position where that was. Kick returns. Parker just had too many kick returns. 5 in a game is usually not a good thing. Punts, though. Robert Conard is also the returner for the Bills. Just, honestly, an impressive performance. Because it's 52-20. I wish it showed the the scoring chart of who scored where, but that's okay. Yeah, just looking it was a good game in the first half, right? It was a 7-point difference, and then the third quarter happened at 21 points, right? That puts them up by 28 now, and then the extra 10, they won in every single quarter. So, the only one, the quarter that they tied in was the first. So they played great. 4th down conversions, they both went for it once. 3rd downs, 3 and 2. Red zone, 33% for the Bills somehow. Off percentage. Wow, never mind. Red zone off touchdowns, 2. On paper, they look so fucking even, but then the scoreline just shows elsewhere. 52-20. That game is absolutely disgusting, but that's okay. But let's talk about the other games going on. Kansas City versus the Patriots. We'll kind of say who we think is going to win, who we think is going to move on to the Super Bowl. And then we'll kind of dig deep into some of these other specifics in these games that are going to make a difference. But starting off, Kansas City versus the New England Patriots. For sure, I think Kansas City is going to get this W, but Patriots have been making pretty good last few weeks there. But I think that game's definitely going to the Kansas City Chiefs. Titans and Steelers. I'm going to give this one to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think it's going to be a Steelers and Bills in the divisional round. And Patriots will verse the the Kansas City. Oh no, Kansas City. Hold on, let's relook at this here. The lowest seed. Oh no, it'd be the 6th seed. It would be Steelers versus the Bengals, a divisional matchup. And then Bills and Kansas City. Looking on the NFC side, Falcons and Lions. I think this is a pretty good matchup. This could go either way, but I'm going to give that slight edge to the Falcons. I think he has a great defense, especially with a man named AJ Terrell. We'll look into him more, but he's got a good defense going, and I think that just gives him that extra little boost there. He's going to move on, and we'll kind of see who he plays. Green Bay and Panthers. I'm going to give this one to the Carolina Panthers. It's another one in the NFC South division. But I'm going to say they're going to win over the Green Bay Packers, who actually been having a little bit of a slum as of late, but still a high-powered offense. As usual, I think they're one of the best offenses. If not, I think they're the best offense in the league right now. And then Eagles and Buccaneers. I can't be biased about this because, well, guess who? I'm the Buccaneers, but yeah, we're shit kicking them. Anyways, kind of look at some of the season stats here. Looking more at the Chiefs here. Patrick Mahomes, 32 touchdowns, 28 interceptions. I thought he started off really well, and then I think he just started throwing picks, going from his week 1 performance. I mean, no, he did not. He was not doing very good in the start. Threw 2 picks, he was down, didn't throw a touchdown, only 77 yards. They still won 31-8 somehow. Isaiah Pacheco, I'm pretty sure he went off that game. And then they versed the Texans, and Mahomes had a good game. And then the Jets just beat them, but he threw 2 interceptions, 1 pick, or 1 touchdown. Versus the Chargers again, this time he did a lot better. 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, 215 yards. It looks like he's starting to get the passing game, another 200-yard game in Week 7 against the Bears, another win. They're undefeated so far. 2-2 though. Looking at the Patriots now, who they're playing against, and it was a 24-13 game, 3 touchdowns, his season high so far. 3 interceptions as well, though, also a season high. So looking at that Patriots defense. Broncos, Mahomes did not show up. 2 interceptions, 167 yards. Not a good game, but still got the victory somehow. Then we'll go up against the Raiders, the team that has just been eliminated from the playoffs. 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 269 yards. I mean, that could go 50-50 both ways. Then he goes up against the Broncos again, and this time it's a shutout, 24-0. 2 touchdowns, 154 yards. I mean, that's a decent game. Expect Mahomes to get over, 200 in this game, but that's okay. Goes up against the Vikings, who are near the bottom of the standings. 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, 240. I mean, that's a good game coming from Mahomes. Another 3 touchdown performance. Goes up against the Packers, who have a dominant offense. Defensively, though, they got Jair Alexander, so the 3 interceptions. That secondary is, pretty strong, I would say. So, tough one. Bills, though, this is a surprising one. Bills have actually a really good defense. And for Mahomes to not throw an interception, this was a good week. This was a really good week for Patrick Mahomes, his best game of the season so far. No interceptions. Don't think he had a turnover. No, he had a fumble. But still, best performance of the season so far through the air, I would say. Then he goes up against the Raiders, and this time it is another loss. Only 3 points for that Kansas City team, as special teams is the only thing to get on the board. 118 yards only, 2 passing touchdowns only. And then here comes a little bit of a drought here for interceptions. Goes 1-3, goes 3-4, and then he finishes off the season with a 3-0 for a touchdown interception ratio for 200 yards. But sacks wise, he's been kind of holding it down. The last 2 games there, basically, the last 3, they kind of let up more than 3 there, but the whole season really has been around 2-1. He's got that 1-3 in there, and then these 2 4s. So he's being protected, and his completion percentage. I mean, let's just take a look. There's one at 50%. I mean, the passing game for them could be better. It definitely could be better. Then we are looking at the Patriots, right? Sam Howell. This is who he will be playing against. Goes exactly 50-50 here. Passing 22 touchdowns to 22 interceptions. Longest is an 80 this year. He also has this guy named Jamie Young, the rookie. I think he had a really good start, Jamie Young, and then I'm not sure what happened. They must have just flipped the switch, but I think he was, I guess he wasn't, but he started him later in the year. There was one quarterback who was versing, I think it was that Van Dyke guy. But I mean, he played pretty well. Coming off the last few games here. So I'm gonna guess that Jamie is their starting quarterback then. If he's starting in week, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. So I guess we're gonna be looking mostly at him. He's actually getting sacked quite a bit. So I'm curious what the fumbles. He only actually fumbled once. And he doesn't run with Jamie. Kind of look at more of when he was picked up, drafted in the 3rd round. So that kind of tells you a little bit about him to see if he can get it done in his first playoff game in the NFL. Looking more at the rushing stats, we'll keep it to the Patriots, as Stevenson didn't hit that 1,000-yard goal there, but 8 touchdowns, 192 carries, 31 broken tackles. His longest on the season, the Patriots' longest on the season, is a 31 in general for rushing. So a little bit weaker in the rushing department, as this Tylan Hill is the backup. 130 yards on 41 carries. Not really that good. But he's got the 3 touchdowns to go with it. Yeah, only 11 rushing touchdowns total on the season. But we'll kind of take it more at the receiving standpoint for the Patriots. Tyquan Thornton, 1,600-yard receiver, having a fantastic year. Young receiver, 10 touchdowns on the year. Just look at more of his stats. 88 receptions too on top of it all. Actually, 2 years in a row, 1,600 yards. Just kind of looking more at week 1 here. So, you know, his fall game really was against the Miami Dolphins. Still won. 2 receptions, 37 yards. Didn't get very much there. But the team we're trying to look against is these guys. He had 5 receptions for 85 yards. Still getting quite a bit of targets here against the Chiefs. And looking at the second game, oh right, this is the Patriots, not in the same division. And he did not have a touchdown. Rondell Moore, 888 yards, 5 touchdowns. I mean, they kind of throw it to everybody on this team. They got J.J. Whiteside. Chris is there as well. John Ross, a speedster. They hit it to their running back quite a bit too, as long as he's 21, so I can see that going for rather a wheel route or short flats that kind of broke off. And Hunter Henry, who I thought was their starting tight end, but I guess JJ, what is his overall? 74. It's in Hunter Henry. Okay. Longest reception though is an 80-yard reception. It's by their leading receiver Thornton. John Ross though has the second with 75. That's probably just a straight go route. He's a speed demon there. He's only played 273 downs, so gotta be what we all think there. Defensively, who leads this team? Looks like it's this Kalen Tolson. Got 100 exact tackles this season. Only 3 of them went for a loss. That's actually not too good. 1 sack, 4 interceptions. Let's look at the fumbles. Didn't have a fumble this year. Had 2 defensive touchdowns. Looks like they're getting in the end zone a good amount of times here this season. Tackles for loss though, Matthew Judon. That's a little bit better stats here. 14 sacks. But the tackles for loss we're looking at is 20. And they also have Khalil Mack apparently, who has 14 tackles for loss and 8.5 sacks. So looking at Matthew Judon, these two are kind of leading the team here, Khalil Mack and Matthew Judon. And that front 7 with 14, yeah, then you got Josh and Beatrice. So interceptions though, Nick Cross leads with 11, having a great season. What is this man's overall? 81 actually, wow, and he's 21 years old. Wow. That is awesome. Jonathan Jones, you know, the vet for this team in that secondary, 6 interceptions this season, having a good year. And then you got your Tolson guy who leads the team in tackles, 4 interceptions, 4 from Jones as well. And Guidry, I think is how you pronounce his name. And then the safety Kyle Duggar has 3, and then the rest follow on. Jabril Peppers, surprised he didn't have a little bit more playing time as well. The high overall as well, but just not a big impact for this team. Kick returns, there was no touchdowns. John Ross, no surprise, was the returner. And Marcus Jones was the punt returner. And decent stats. Can't really complain anything about those. We'll look more at the Chiefs now, rushing department, receiving, and defense. So Isaiah Pacheco, who led the league, 1,900 yards, 14 touchdowns, 4 fumbles this season. A 75 was his longest, and I'm pretty sure that was against the Chargers. But just looking at more of his stats individually in each game. You know, looking at the beginning of the year, Steelers. First game, 89 yards, 20 carries. I mean, that's alright. And then the Chargers, 22 carries, 188 yards, basically doubles his rushing yards from week 1. Very consistent with how many times they get the ball, or he gets the ball. Looks like it's 20, you know, around 20 to 21, 22 each time. Got a 19 carry against the Jets, 154 yards. Why not keep feeding in? And just looking at the touchdowns, like 0 in his first week, but then he picks it up with 3, makes up for it, and gets 2. And look at the score line, like less than 10 points, averaging about 10 points a game. Goes up against the Chargers again. It was not against the Chargers to get that big run. That's not your longest. It was against the Broncos, 229 yards. I think that's his career high. So just kind of skimming through some of these rest of the stats here. Looking more at the Patriots, which was one of his least amount of rushing yards, 75, 18 carries, and he had a fumble. So the Patriots are the team to really hold them. Looking like the Chiefs is kryptonite a little bit here. We'll kind of see if we want to change our result there. Broncos 229, like, I mean, consistent. Looked like he was trying to see, he was slowing down at the end of the year here. You know, he had this 100-yard game against the Bills, 23 carries, one of his most all season. And then his last game, one of his least amount of carries, tied with these 13s, but hit 237 yards. Oh, that's actually going to be his career high with the 2 touchdowns. And in the receiving game, I don't think he gets too much. You know, averages about 3 receptions. He's got 1, 2, 3 receiving touchdowns on the year. Just looking at his career stats, he was a 2,000-yard back last year with 28. Definitely a bigger performance last season. Same amount of fumbles, same longest. Like he looks the exact same. It's just the only difference is the touchdowns. That's it. And receiving wise, for career wise, same amount basically. More receiving touchdowns this year, so I guess it kind of makes up for that aspect. Looking more at the receiving game though, Travis Kelce, no surprise to see him lead this team. 10 touchdowns, 1,200 yards. Longest is a 70. Marquez Valdez-Scott is 681, 7 touchdowns. The Juju Smith-Schuster, former Steeler, 598, just shy of 600, but he does get 6 touchdowns. Mecole Hardman, 439, 5 touchdowns. Isaiah Pacheco, already seen his stats, 275 for 3 touchdowns. And this Jaheim Bell, the rookie, 73 yards, 14 catches, and a touchdown. So not too many high receptions for the Chiefs here, honestly. They do spread the ball quite a bit, but I would have expected them to be more of a passing team, but the run game's working. Why not? Like, no need to not really focus on that. We're going to just look at the AFC here. The passing leader is going to go to Josh Allen, who did win his playoff game. 63 interceptions, so that's got to be the highest by far. That is awful. That is really awful. Wow. Derek Carr had the best quarterback year, I'm going to say. Derek Carr for MVP, everybody. Wow. 50 touchdowns, 20 interceptions. Derek Carr for MVP. 45 for 41. Justin Herbert. I mean, the 40 picks is crazy. Joe Burrow also had a really good year. 44 for 16. I mean, I'm impressed. CJ Stroud threw a lot of picks in his rookie year, but I mean, the yards showed up, 4,000-yard passer. This Phil Jurkovec, 29 touchdowns, 37 interceptions, 3,000-yarder, almost 4,000, just shy of it. Russell Wilson's up there, 38. For the Broncos team, this is all right. I mean, the 35 picks obviously can go away. Malik Willis, which he didn't play a full season really, but 28 for 22. I mean, it's looking pretty decent for him. Mac Jones had a all right year. I mean, everybody has a lot of picks. Lamar Jackson, 25 for 32. Huntley, that's Tyler Huntley, the Pittsburgh Steelers they just acquired, 24 for 30. Trevor Lawrence, 23 for 27, 3,000 yards. Jamie Young's right here, the guy we were just talking about a little while ago. So, I mean, like, AFC in the passing department wise, we kind of see the teams that are going to, have more success through the air here in this playoffs. I mean, Malik Willis and the Titans, he got a tough matchup against Pittsburgh. But just looking up against his season stats, he had actually, besides this game against the Buccaneers, which Buccaneers fucking disrupted them. And the 49ers, both on the NFC side. Those were his two worst games. He only threw it 8 times. So he might have gotten hurt against the 49ers, but for us, he played the full game. 15 times threw the ball. I think he did end up benching him mid-game, but the 4 interceptions against the 49ers, he only threw the 1. But throughout the whole rest of the season, I mean, he played fantastic. 214, 200, like he's averaging over 200 yards, which is great, or just 200 yards. They beat the Steelers in the regular season, and he played great. Let's see his legs, though. I mean, it's not bad against the Steelers. He had only 6 yards there. In the beginning of the season, it looked like he was trying to run it more with the QB carries here. But then it just kind of, I mean, it still picked up with the 5 carries here and there. I think he lost the QB running kind of momentum here, and then they started to pick it up near the end of the season again. But overall, Malik Willis, I mean, he's gonna give that Pittsburgh defense a little bit of trouble, I believe. But speaking of the Pittsburgh Steelers, Tyler Huntley, the new acquisition for this team, and just looking at that season stats, I mean, I think the Titans have the better passing game. It's really going to come down to the rushing department, I think, in the defense. I do think the Steelers have a better defense than the Titans. But we'll kind of look at more of that matchup. I mean, Tyler Huntley's playing okay. I mean, his best game was against the Rams, who are pretty sure they are last in the NFL this season. But it's good to see him get 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, so. But I mean, he did alright. I mean, he had a little touchdown drought here for a bit. 0, 0, 0, 0, that's pretty crazy. And then he started to get a thing going and get touchdowns every game throughout the whole season. So week 7 was the last time, and that was against the Titans, which he struggled against the Titans. In the rushing department, he also kind of rushes it a little bit. 9 carries. I mean, 1 touchdown there. So looking more at the stats-wise, the Titans do look like the better team. So we'll kind of get a new review here for the games we think. Rushing wise though, we're going to be seeing Derrick Henry, 1,200 yard rusher, 238 carries, 15 touchdowns. Najee Harris right underneath them. I mean, they both pretty much had the same season. Henry with them way more carries though, but not much more yards and not much more touchdowns. I think if Pittsburgh runs the ball in this game though, I definitely think Pittsburgh can get the victory here if they can start to get that rush game going. But if they have to rely on the passing game, I'm gonna give this one to the Titans actually. Robert Connor, man, I don't know, he came out of nowhere. George Pickens, great year, 1,500 yard receiver, 11 touchdowns, longest 77. Like, he's done well. He's done well. And then looking at the other side, the Titans. Oh, they have two receivers here, Treylon Burks and Jermaine Burton. They're kind of having the same season as well, same amount of receptions basically as well. Young receivers kind of work with. A lot of Texan receivers here. Defensively, this is the main thing we want to look at. We don't want to look at tackles here for everybody. But sacks wise, unbelievable. They lead the AFC 1 and 2. 19 sacks, and then you have your 18.5 sacks. But TJ Watt, he's up there, number 4 with 15.5 sacks this year, 1 interception. He's gonna be trouble for this Titans offense. And let's try to see if we can find an opposing. Yep, here it is. Harold Landry, 9 sacks. He's also going to be a little bit of a menace here. But Alex Highsmith is also right here as well, 8 sacks. In the interception department, though, Darius Phillips, 11 interceptions. And then the Titans leading interception leader. Did I pass it? It looks like they got many. Caleb Farley, 5. Is that their leading? Wow, they did not. I mean, they got a decent amount of picks, but your leading interception artist is only 5. I mean, their secondary, at least for turnovers, is looking a little shy. But that's kind of that department there. I want to look more at the passing again now, and this time we're going to look at the NFC here. Deshaun Watson, who made the big trade here. These guys are going to be fucked for cap space. 50 interceptions. Delicious. Kyler Murray and the Cardinals, 38 for 40. Had a pretty good year. Aaron Rodgers looking like he had a pretty good year as well. I mean, everybody's getting like 40 picks this season. Dak Prescott, all right. Bobby Boucher, not good. Not good at all. 4,000 yards, yes, that's a bonus, but 58 and only 21 touchdowns. The rookie, Will Levis, 30 for 27. I mean, he had a good year. Desmond Ridder had a fantastic year. Good for him. Like, wow, that's a good year. Justin Fields had a decent year as well. Matt Corral, looking at him, he's looking pretty nice as well. Jalen Hurts, who the Bucks are going up against, he played pretty good. Well, he actually didn't throw that many interceptions this season. Looking more at his stats. His best game was, looks like it was maybe his last game. Yeah, I mean the 5 interceptions here against the Cardinals. I mean he looks solid in the last few games here. So that's impressive. You know, he goes 7 touchdowns for 1 interception. They do get sacked quite a bit though. But I mean, like, good for them. I mean, they finished the year off pretty strong. 42 points against the Chiefs. Only 27-6 against the Saints. I mean, that's still a good win, don't get me wrong, but then the 38-21 against the Commanders with 4 touchdowns. Rushing wise, last 2 games he really didn't want to run the ball at all. But he's getting up here with some of these carries. 11 carries. 10 carries. He's got 1, 2, 3, 3 rushing touchdowns this season. It's pretty good. Aaron Rodgers, we already know what he's up to. Falcons, they're going to have a lot of here. They're going to have a nice time passing there. Pretty sure they got the Lions. And that is also a rookie, Anthony Richardson, who's going to play in his first playoff game. 35 touchdowns, 29 interceptions. I mean, he had a good rookie season. Good for him. Bryce Young, we know about him. He had a pretty decent rookie season. I mean, only 20 touchdowns passing. It's kind of shit. But to be fair, the passing department in the NFC has not been that good this year. Like, looking at the touchdowns, if you compare the NFC and AFC, like, AFC just blew it out of the park for passing. Like, everybody's 40, 50, you know, or 30s and everything, and then you get the NFC and it's like our highest is 40. One guy, 43, Aaron Rodgers. So that could just tell us the NFC has better defenses, or, you know, the AFC is just better at passing. Whoops. So that's something to look at there. See a lot of maybe rushing in the NFC and more passing in the AFC, or more defense in the NFC. That kind of seems like that's what it is. It's the defense in the NFC. I would say it's a lot better than the AFC defenses this season, that is. But I mean, everybody's looking pretty decent here. Rushing department, DeAndre Swift had a fantastic year. 300 carries. Jesus. 1,700 yard rusher, 18 touchdowns, only 4 fumbles on the year. Good season. Robinson, the Bucks rookie running back. They picked him up in the 2nd round, believe it or not. He dropped. Supposed to go mid to early first. Drops to the 2nd round, 1st overall pick. And look what he does. Shows the league, hey, everybody who passed on me, fuck you. 1,600 yard rusher, 20 touchdowns. He led the league in rushing touchdowns this season. I'm pretty sure he led in carries too. Yeah, he did by 1 carry. And then he finished 3rd in the rushing department. But like, look at some of his longest. 98 really for Swift. Wow. Devin Singletary, who got picked up at a free agency this year. I think he got picked up on like week 1 of free agency of this year. So good to see him kind of still have a nice gain there for the Seahawks. Damian Harris, they actually had a good rushing game too. 14 touchdowns. And just shy of 1,400 yards. Aaron Jones, another 1,000 yard rusher. Chuba Hubbard starts for Carolina, 1,000-yard rusher. I mean, they look good. Kenneth Gainwell just hit 1,000. So, seeing some of these teams, James Conner. I mean, there's no rushing department in these Cardinals. Receiving wise, we have 2 leaders, 106 receptions. Wow. Christian Watson though, and Jonnu Smith, both tied for the exact same amount of yards. Jonnu Smith had more catches, but the touchdowns, Christian Watson had a fantastic year. That's almost MVP worthy right there. Too bad receivers really don't get enough credit for it, and usually goes to QBs or running back. Jameson Williams, 16 touchdowns for the Lions. 1,500 yards. Cooper Kupp, the traded to the Cardinals, had a 1,500 yard season, 16 touchdowns. Godwin had a pretty good year as well, 1,300 yard receiver, just shy of 14 there, 12 touchdowns on the year. The rookie Kawhi Bigby had a fantastic year, 1,300 yard receiver, 15 touchdowns. His longest was a 74. I mean, he's a smaller receiver, but speed, speed that kills you, gets open. Drake London apparently is fucking Randy Moss in this game. When I versed him, he just fucking mosses everybody. But 1,300 yard receiver as well, 12 touchdowns. You got Hollywood Brown there on the bye week. Allen Lazard. You got Paris Campbell who also had 1,000 yards. That's crazy. AJ Brown, Eagles leading receiver. So just kind of looking more at that. That was tackles, of course. I mean, Rams spent more time on defense than anything else this season. Lorenzo Carter, good year. Tackle for loss, though. Let's take a look at these. 36, Brian Burns. This man better win Defensive Player of the Year. He had a outstanding season. So I really do hope he wins Defensive Player of the Year. We'll look more at that stat and everything, those awards in a second. Marcus Lawrence, Chase Young, Aaron Donald, the Bears, Shaq Thompson, another one. He's right up there. They have a good pass rush. Rashawn Gary, up there. Packers looking pretty good, 21. So, I mean, everybody else is kind of eh. But yeah, I mean, Brian Burns, 26 sacks. 26 and a half sacks. Josh Sweat is someone to look for as well. For the Eagles, 14 and a half sacks. Akawara, 14 sacks. Shaquille Barrett, 13 and a half sacks. Hassan Reddick also. So the Eagles' pressure is getting there as well. But definitely the best pass rush has got to be from those Panthers. Interceptions. This goes to Jamel Dean. Ball hawk on defense. 13 interceptions. Leads the league in interceptions. 203 freaking interception yards. More than some running backs have in rushing yards this season. Dante Jackson right next to him. 12 interceptions. Fantastic season. Panthers looking like they have a solid defense. AJ Terrell, 12 interceptions. Like I said, I spoke to him. He's the teleporting magician here. This is gonna be he's so good for the secondary. Hufanga's there. Richie Grant actually also had 11. I mean, Falcons defense looking tough as well in that secondary. Then you got Devin White, the linebacker, 11. You got Anthony Walker, another linebacker for the Bucks, 11 as well. I mean, Adrian Amos for the Packers, leads them with 10. Isaiah Johnson leads the Cardinals. Kalen Barnes, the guy who led last year in interceptions, has 9 this year. He's so underrated. It's crazy. J.C. Horn and C.J. Henderson there as well. Avonte Maddox, so the secondary for the Eagles could, at least for turnovers, could be up there. Carlton Davis is here now. C.J. Gardner. I mean, it's there. Looking at some of these fumbles. Brian Burns, I mean, please. Shaquille Barrett up there as well. Nick Bosa, Montez Sweat, all have 4. Fumble recovery. Man, Eric Armstead and Azeez Ojulari. Both of them, 4 recoveries. They're just waiting for pickups. Wow, the Packers. Yannick, our new acquiree. Got some pickups there as well. Safeties. Who's got some safeties? There's a lot of people who have 1 defensive touchdowns this season. J.C. Horn, Richie Grant with 3. Adrian Amos, Benjamin St. Juste, Jamal Adams. I've got a lot of people with 2 here. So, I mean, defense for the NFC is looking a lot better, I would say. I'm just kind of comparing them. So, I mean, they're pretty good, but NFC for sure has the tougher defenses. I do want to look at awards. Yearly awards. First of all, before we see that Joe Burrow, weekly awards. I want to see if we see multiple people. Brian Burns already started. Panthers in general started the year off amazing. Joe Burrow's got his number 1. Matt Corral 2 weeks in a row. Insane. Bengals had a great week 2. Panthers again. Panthers have in the first 3 weeks have been a defensive or offensive player of the week. And this time it'll stop Joe Burrow, another one. Joe Burrow again. Panthers again. I mean, Panthers are really underrated team there. You see that. They are always on here. Jamar Chase, I mean, it's someone from the Bengals. Saquon Barkley, Adam Thielen. Wow, that Browns had a good week as well, apparently. CJ Stroud actually got a AFC Offensive Player of the Week performance. A little surprising there. He did not have many good performances, but week 9 he had one at least. Desmond Ridder, Falcons had a pretty good week. I mean, Jags, usually it seems like there's a pattern here. If you win Offensive Player of the Week, your team's also going to win Defensive Player of the Week, apparently. That's how it works here. Anthony Richardson gets his first rookie Offensive Player of the Week in week 11. 6 passing touchdowns for the Lions. Jamal Dean, Herbert, Myles Garrett was there. Desmond Ridder again. Looking like he's having a solid season. Tyler Huntley gets his first Player of the Week. Jalen Hurts gets a Player of the Week performance. Same thing with Darnell Savage. This is Sauce Gardner's there. Herbert again. And there's Swift, a dangerous running back. And CJ Stroud, another Offensive Player of the Week performance. Maybe starting to pick it up here later in the season, but still they're at the bottom of the table for the standing. AFC, we're looking at Robinson, the rookie, at his first Player of the Week in week 15. AJ Terrell, another dangerous factor on defense. Zach Wilson, see his first there as well. White, he's got many of those Defensive Player of the Weeks in his career. Desmond Ridder, another one. You would think that he is up for MVP there with the season he's having. Burton for the Titans had a Player of the Week. AJ Terrell is right back in there. Barham for the Texans gets a Defensive Player of the Week. Jalen Hurts, Week 18 in the last week here. Jalen Hurts is going to get Player of the Week. And Isaiah Pacheco had a great season, and he capped it off pretty great as well. Taking a look at the yearly awards. Let's take a look. MVP Joe Burrow most likely will be the MVP. Derek Carr right behind him, and Saquon Barkley. Brian, oh, was he hurt? No, he wasn't. Brian Burns, the one and probably only defensive player voted for MVP. Got the rookie there as well. I think he's the first rookie on here. Before a few others start showing up. And there's Desmond Ridder. Coach of the Year goes to Matt LaFleur, which you're supposed to have a goddamn creative coach. That's okay. He gets the Coach of the Year some fucking how. I really don't understand how. He's 9-8, but Coach of the Year is gonna most likely go to Matt LaFleur. We're up there as well. So we'll look at the AFC side first. Offensive Player of the Year, Robert Connor, the wide receiver, rookie for the Bills. That's well said. Defense, Von Miller and Greg here. Offensive Rookie, second award this season, as he gets the Offensive Rookie of the Year. That's Robert Connor. Defensive Rookie Year, Adrian Bryant gets that Defensive Rookie of the Year award. Good to see that as well. Best QB goes to Joe Burrow for the AFC. Best running back, no question, Isaiah Pacheco. Wide receiver, his third award this season, Robert Connor, stealing all the awards. Best lineman this year goes to Joe Thuney for the Chiefs. Best D-line, Miller again, gets his second award. TJ Watt for the Steelers gets Best Linebacker award. Best DB goes to Marcus Williams. Best Kicker goes to Matt Gay with the Dolphins. Looking at the NFC now, Christian Watson gets Offensive Player of the Year. And of course, Brian Burns, Defensive Player of the Year. 2 Panthers back to back here. And then 3 Buccaneers players follow, and then 2 Commanders. Offensive Rookie of the Year is going to go to Robinson! Bigsby was right there too. But Robinson most likely will take home that. And defense is going to go to Brian Branch for the Falcons, getting Defensive Rookie of the Year. Best QB is going to go to Desmond Ridder. Saquon Barkley gets Best Running Back somehow over Robinson. And Swift. What? How did that threw me off a little bit. I thought it would honestly be Swift or Robinson. Okay, Best Receiver, Christian Watson. Best O-Line, David Bakhtiari. Best D-Line, I mean, do we need to? Brian Burns. I mean, he's winning it. Best Linebacker, Uchenna Nwansu. Yep. What? Dante Jackson got Best DB over Jamel Dean. And what? And Will Lutz got it over Cody Parkey. I don't know how they do this voting shit, but I thought we would definitely win Best Kicker. But yeah, just kind of looking at the standings though to end the year. So in the NFL, the Bengals finished the only team to get 14 plus wins. They just had a great season. I mean, Cardinals right next to them, 13-4. There's quite a few 13-4 teams going with the Chiefs, Falcons, and Buccaneers. And 2 of these 13-4 teams are in the same division. And looking at the Packers and Lions here, I mean, again, same division. Really just depends on who won in the middle of the year. But it's crazy. And the Bears, I mean, that feels bad. You go 11-6 and miss playoffs. But you look on the, I think it was the AFC side. No, it's not. Yeah. Top teams made it in that one. NFC. I guess it was the Bears that got chipped. The Eagles, though. If the 49ers would have beat the Falcons, it would have been a weird. I don't know how it would have really mattered. Well, we would have had to go to some sort of tiebreakers, and then if they won their last game, they just need to win out. But just looking at some of these divisions here, Jesus, AFC East, man, 3 teams with 10 wins. But that's pretty decent. This is another tough division as well. And then you got the Vikings, but everybody over 10 wins there. Another tough division here. 2 teams got 13 wins and 12 wins. And the Saints, I feel very bad for them as they are gonna have to deal with these 3 teams for the next few years. I mean, this division could have gone either way. Cowboys surprisingly finished last in the division. Cardinals finished first. I mean, this division I thought was gonna be at least 2 of these teams were gonna get 10 wins, but the Cardinals, you know, definitely got their 13 wins. They played good all season. 49ers have been a hit and miss team. Sometimes they look like they're the best team in the league, and then other weeks they don't. Rams, 1 win somehow. Seahawks actually started to play pretty good near the end of the year. So, love to see it though. Good to see that, but we're going to be back at the playoff picture. Today, most likely, our game will be played. But looking back at the stats now, if I want to change anything, I actually think the Patriots are going to beat the Chiefs. I got to say, Patriots looked better in a sense on paper-wise. And they played better, and they played the Chiefs and they won. So I'm actually going to go with the Patriots win this one over the Chiefs. The Steelers and the Titans. I mean, this is a tough one. It can go either way, but I'm going to give this one to the Steelers. So keep it the same. That is what we should have done. I would have gone with the Raiders by far in that one. I'm going to stick with the Falcons in this game. I'm sticking with the Panthers in this game, and this game we won't have a, pick on, because obviously we are the ones in that game. Then Bengals and Patriots, I'm going to say the Bengals are going to win that one. Then I'm going to say the Bills, who beat the Raiders. 52 points against them. They got to go to the conference, so Bengals and Bills will play there. Cardinals and Falcons, I'm going to give that one to the Falcons. They're going to go to the conference championship. And then Panthers, no, it won't be Falcons. It would be Panthers and Cardinals, and I'm going to give that one to the Panthers. Falcons and somebody else, I'm going to give that to the somebody else. We don't know who it is yet. And then I'm going to say Bills go to the Super Bowl over the Bengals, actually. I know I've been really giving Bengals less credit than I should, but all season I've been doing that for them, and they've proved me wrong all year, so maybe they'll do it one more time. And I'm going to say the unknown team in the NFC here is going to go to the Super Bowl, but we won't say what team that is. But anyways, we'll see you guys in our first week of this wild card playoff matchup, possibly later today. But peace out for now.